screen bigger. If you would like to make my screen bigger, click on the 3 little dots in the corner of my video and then press on pin video, and that will make mine bigger. Also, lastly, if you are comfortable, it does help me with teaching if I can see you guys and if I can see your technique. So if you want to, pop your video on. If you don't feel comfortable, that's totally fine. Alrighty, so we are going to get started, and we are going to get started lying down onto our backs at the beginning of class. So lying down onto your back and finding a comfortable position here. So you've got a couple of options here. You can keep your legs extended out in front of you, or if you want to come into a gentle hip opener, bring the soles of your feet together and just let your knees gently fall out to the side. Slight tuck of your chin to your chest. And we're going to start by connecting with our breath. So staying lying onto your backs, and I'm going to talk you guys through some breath work. So placing one hand to your belly and one hand to heart center, closing down your eyes, and just take a moment here to connect with your normal everyday breath. So notice where you're breathing into your lungs. Quite often we're just breathing sort of really shallow into that top part of our lungs. So noticing your breath, noticing your energy levels. And then we're going to start to lengthen through our breath. So starting to send the breath to what feels like the very bottom of your belly. So take a nice deep inhale through the nose, close down your mouth, and as you exhale, let everything come out through the nose without force. So nice gentle exhalation, nice deep inhale. You might like to use a count in your head of 4 or 5, or maybe even 6, depending on your lung capacity. And use this count for both inhales and exhales. So really slowing the breath down. And you might like to add a pause at the top of your inhale, the bottom of your exhale, to slow the breath down that little bit further. And guys, just a gentle reminder, if something doesn't feel right during your practice, try to use that as an opportunity to take a break, come back to your breath. And let's try to stay connected to our breath as we start to move our bodies. So using our breath as our anchor for our practice. When you're ready on your next inhale, we're going to take our full body stretch. So reach your arms up and overhead, extend your legs out, really reaching towards the back of the room, pointing your toes towards the front of the room. Full body stretch, and as you exhale, draw your knees into your chest, wrap your hands around your shins, and we're just going to gently rock from side to side here. So we're massaging out through the lower part of our back, through our sacrum, and just checking out how your hips are feeling as you do this. We're going to come into our happy baby pose. So really nice and gentle for this first one. So arms to the insides of your legs and then hands to the outside edges of your feet. So we're trying to draw our knees down towards our armpits and trying to stack our heels above our knees. If it feels super uncomfortable to hold onto your feet, hold onto your ankles or your calves. And then maybe you might like to gently rock it out side to side. Just gently opening out through the hips. And then coming back to stillness, release your left foot down to the mat. So we're coming into half happy baby. So actively drawing that right knee down towards your right armpit. And then from here, we're going to come into a bit of a glute stretch. So you're going to bring your right ankle on top of your left knee. So coming into that figure of four shape. And then interlace your hands behind your left thigh. So we actively work that right knee out to the side as we start to draw our left knee in towards us. And where you should be feeling the stretches through the outside of that right hip. When you're ready, releasing the bind of your left leg. So place your left foot down to the mat. Arms come out into a nice wide T position. So keep your right ankle on that left knee. And we're going to come into a spinal twist from here. So drop your right foot over to the left-hand side of your mat and look out over your right fingertips. So just a gentle spinal twist. Keep actively pressing that right knee up towards the ceiling. And then when you're ready, coming back through to center, releasing that bind, hug knees into your chest. And then we'll come straight back into our happy baby pose. So straight back into happy baby. And this time we release our right foot down to the mat. So half happy baby with that left leg, drawing your knee down towards your armpit. So you should be getting a really nice stretch through the back of that left thigh, through our hamstring. And then from here, let's find that figure of four. So left ankle on top of your right knee. And then interlace your hands behind your right thigh. And then just feeling that through the outside of your left hip this time. And just noticing what side feels a little bit tighter than the other. So we've always got one dominant side. And let's release that right foot down to the mat, arms out into a nice wide T. We're going to drop that left foot over to the right hand side and look out over our left fingertips this time. So find that spinal twist, actively press that left knee up towards the ceiling. And then coming back through to center, hugging both knees into your chest. Let's rock and roll along the length of our spine. So a couple of times here before coming up to seated. And then making your way into a tabletop position. So knees are directly underneath your hips and your wrists are underneath your shoulders. Spread your fingers nice and wide and press the tops of your feet into the mat. Find that neutral spine to start off with. We're going to work through cat and cow pose. So as you inhale, you drop your belly, tilt your pelvis and draw your chest forward in between your upper arms. As you exhale, round through the spine, tuck your tailbone, look towards your belly button. Inhale as you drop the belly, tilt your pelvis, looking forward. And exhaling round through the spine. And just continue on in your own time, your own breath. Noticing that as you inhale, you're getting that nice stretch across your abdominals. And as you exhale, getting that nice stretch through the upper spine, warming up through the spinal column. On your next inhale, come back to your neutral spine. Now from here, we extend away with our right leg. So point your toes down towards the mat, try to square off through those hips, and then we'll reach forward with the left fingertips. So you're reaching diagonally across the body. And this time as you exhale, curl under, bringing your knee to your elbow. Inhale as you extend back out. Exhale, curling under, slow controlled movements. So you're really using your core here. Let's do one more curling under. Extend all the way back out. Let's bring our left hand back to the mat. We're going to come into a supported side plank from here. So you're going to open that right hip out and stack through those hips. So this is our first option, is staying here with our right leg on the ground. Our next option is to reach up through right fingertips, reaching up towards the ceiling. So you're active through that underside waist. Next option is to float that right leg up to hip height. So as you do this, you should feel the glute of your right leg really working here to lift that leg up. And last option is to come into a bind. So bending through that right knee, take hold of the top of your foot with your right hand and come into a balance from here. Nice work, guys, nice balance. And if you do fall out, come back in. Releasing the bind if you've got it. Reach your arm back up to the ceiling. Let's bring that right hand back down to the mat, square off through your hips, and then we're going to step that right foot forward to the top of our mat. Make sure that your knee is tracking above or behind your ankle. So we're going to come into a low lunge from here. Let's reach both arms up, sink those hips down, shoulders release down and back. And maybe looking up in between your hands if that's comfortable for your neck. Take a nice deep inhale here, and as you exhale, hands come down to frame that front foot. Step it back, 4-point kneeling. Let's work through a cat and cow pose before we come onto the other side. So inhale as you drop the belly, tilt the pelvis, look forward, and exhaling as you round through the spine. Coming back to that neutral spine. And we'll extend away with our left leg this time. Square up through your hips, engage through your core, and then extending away with that right arm this time. And when you're ready, as you exhale, curl under knee to elbow. Inhale as you extend back out. Exhale, curling under. Slow, controlled movements. Inhale to extend back out. We've got one more here. And we're going to come into that side plank. So bringing your right hand down to the mat, opening out through that left hip and reaching up through left fingertips. This is our first option. Next option, to float that left leg up to hip height. Feel that left glute working to lift that leg up. And last option, bend through your left knee, take hold of the top of your foot and come into that bind. Really nice balance, guys. And then releasing that bind, let's bring our left hand back down to the mat, square off through those hips, and then step that left foot forward to the top of your mat. Make sure you've got that knee and ankle alignment, so above or behind your ankle, and then reach your arms up, Sink your hips down, shoulders release down and back. Take a nice deep inhale here and exhale, bring hands down to frame that front foot. So we're going to tuck under through left toes, actually right toes, and we're going to step it back into our downward facing dog. So first, downward facing dog for the class. We're going to be here for a few breaths, guys. I'm going to talk you through some alignment points, okay? So just take a look forward at your hands. Your arms are about shoulder width apart or a little bit further. Fingers are spread nice and wide, and you're pressing down and forwards into your hands. So weight is out of your wrists. Head and neck is nice and heavy here. So give your head a bit of a shake, bit of a nod. Actively press your chest back towards your thighs. Find that tilt of your pelvis up to the ceiling. And to do this, take a soft bend through your knees. And then tilt your pelvis up. That's it. Feet are hip distance apart. And let's just start to pedal out through those feet, one heel at a time. Getting that nice stretch through the back of your legs. And then coming back to stillness. When you're ready on your next inhale, lift it high up onto your tippy toes. Soften through your knees and then step or jump forward to the tops of your mats. We're coming into a standing forward fold. So relax your belly onto your thighs. Hold onto opposite elbows. And let the crown of your head reach down towards the mat. Gently rock from side to side. Release your fingertips down and we're going to interlace hands behind our backs. Squeeze your palms together and then reach your hands towards the front of the room. See if you can fold over a little bit further over those thighs. And then bring your hands back down to the mat. So we're going to come into our half lift. So as you inhale, hands come to your shins, extend through your spine and straighten out through your legs. Exhale, fold it forward. Let's do this 2 more times. Inhale to your half lift. Exhale, fold it forward. 1 more time. And fold it forward. We're just going to roll up 1 vertebrae at a time, nice and slowly. Head, neck and shoulders come up last. Take a big, big roll of those shoulders at the top. And let's stand in our mountain pose at the tops of our mats. So bringing big toes together, heels slightly apart. Tuck your tailbone under so you're engaging through your core. Lift up through your kneecaps, engage through your thighs. Palms to face forward, and we're energetically reaching our fingertips down towards the mat. Lift those shoulders up, down and back. Slight tuck of your chin to your chest. And you're lifting up tall through the crown of your head. Let's all take an inhale as we reach those arms up. Exhale, swan dive forward. So bend through your knees, protect your lower back, fold over those thighs. Inhale to your half lift. Exhale, fold it forward. Reverse swan dive, circle arms out and around. Come up with a flat back. And bring hands down through heart center. We're going to do this 1 more time and then we're going to add on. Inhale, reach arms up. Exhale, fold it forward. Inhale to your half lift. Exhale, fold it forward. Reverse swan dive. And bring hands down through heart center. Let's work through our full sun salutation. Inhale, reach arms up. Exhale to fold forward. Half lift. Let's plant our hands. We're going to step it back into high plank. So finding top of a push-up. Try to find that nice straight line. So you're squeezing through your glutes, pressing out through your heels. Release your knees down to the mat, untuck toes, kneeling plank position. So elbows are going to stay in nice and close as we lower all the way onto our bellies. One nice straight line. Press the tops of your feet into the mat. Let's inhale and lift it up into our cobra. Shoulders release down and back. Exhale, fold it forward. Inhale, pressing up through tabletop. Tuck toes. Back to downward facing dog. And just take a nice deep inhale here, remembering those alignment points in your downward facing dog. This eventually becomes a resting posture. On your next inhale, lift it high up onto your tippy toes. Soften through your knees, step or jump forward to the top of your mat. Let's find our half lift. Fold it forward and reverse swan dive. Bring hands down through heart center. We're going to sit it straight back into our chair pose. So knees and feet are squeezed together here. Sink your hips nice and low, as if you're sitting back into an imaginary chair. And then start to tuck your tailbone under. So you should be able to look down and see your toes just poking out in front of your knees. If you can't see them, maybe sit back a little bit deeper into that chair. 2 more breaths here. Reach those arms up. And on your next exhale, fold it forward over those thighs. Find your half lift. Plant your hands, step or jump back, high plank. Release your knees down, lower down in one nice straight line. Lift it up on your inhale into your cobra. Fold it forward. And make your way back, downward facing dog. As soon as we get here, let's take an inhale as we lift that right leg up to the ceiling. As you exhale, step that right foot forward, top of your mat. Left heel releases to a 45-degree angle. Square your hips and your shoulders off. We're coming into warrior one, so reach both arms up. Shoulders release down and back. So lunging deeply into that right leg as you press out through that back left heel. Take an inhale here, and as you exhale, hands come down to frame that front foot. Step it back, high plank. Let's all release the knees down. Lower onto your bellies. Lift it up into cobra. Make your way back. Downward facing dog. Let's take 3 nice deep inhales here. Nice deep belly breaths. And then we'll do the other side. Take an inhale as you lift your left leg up. Exhale, step that left foot forward. Right heel releases, square your hips and your chest off first, and then reach your arms up. Maybe looking up in between your hands. Lunge deeply into that left leg, press out through that back right heel. Take an inhale here. Exhale, hands come down, frame that front foot. Step it back, high plank. Release knees. Lower down in one nice straight line. Inhale to lift up. And exhale, back, downward facing dog. And let's all release our knees down, untuck toes, sink hips to heels and come into your child's pose. So either relaxing your head to the mat or towards the mat and reconnecting back to your breath. So nice deep belly breaths. When you're ready, gently looking forward, we're going to lift it back up and come straight back into our downward facing dog. From here, guys, we're going to come into our warrior two. So as you inhale, lift up through that right leg. Exhale, step that right foot forward, top of your mat, left heel releases, and then windmill those arms out and around into warrior two. So you're looking out over right fingertips, lunging deeply into that right leg, press out through that back left heel. Warrior two. And let's take an inhale as we straighten out through that right leg, look up as palms touch. Exhale as you lower back down. Inhale to lift up. And exhaling as you lower. 2 more times. And then straightening out through that right leg. Bring hands to your hips. We're going to turn toes so that they're both facing forwards. Both feet are facing forwards. We're going to come into a wide-legged forward fold from here. So slight tuck of your tailbone. Take an inhale as you look up towards the ceiling. And as you exhale, hinge forward from the hips and fold over. Bring your hands underneath your shoulders. So as we get here, you might like to widen your stance a little bit. And we're all going to come into a half lift from here. So up onto those fingertips, extend through your spine. And then fold it over those thighs. So we're trying to work the crown of our head down towards the mat, but we're trying to keep that length through our spine. Try to keep your elbows in nice and close as well, so don't let them flare out to the side. When you're ready, we're going to walk our hands back underneath our shoulders. We're going to come into a bit of a balance from here. So you're going to bring all of your weight into that front leg, into that right leg, and you're going to come up onto the ball of your right foot. Left toes are drawing back towards your face. Now, if it's really uncomfortable for your knee or your ankle to be in this position, you can come up a little bit higher and just come into a bit of a lunge. Otherwise, we're sitting onto that heel, onto that right heel. And then start to take weight out of your hands. Maybe bring hands to heart center. And then just feel all of those little stabilizing muscles in your right ankle, working really hard to keep you balanced here. It also really helps to look at something that's not going to move in front of you for your balance. And maybe if you're feeling super balanced here, you can reach your arms up towards the ceiling. And if you fall out, come back in. Let's bring those hands down to frame that front knee. We're going to pivot around to the front of our mat. And from here, we're going to come into our warrior three. So we're going to lift all of our weight into that right leg and lift your left leg up to about hip height. So in this position, try to square off through those hips. And then maybe taking one hand off the mat, maybe taking both hands. Hands can come to heart center. Trying to balance your torso in line with that left leg. So really feeling that right leg working hard to keep us balanced here. And then we'll bring our hands down to frame that front foot. Big step back with that left leg. And we're going to lift that right leg up towards the ceiling, three-legged dog. And then we'll come into pigeon pose on the right-hand side. So knee comes in behind your right wrist, toes to the opposite side of the mat. Extend away with that left leg and square off through your hips. So resist leaning over to that right-hand side too much. Now, if you do have any knee issues, you can come into that first pose that we did at the beginning of class, so that figure of four, and that just takes the pressure off your knees. Otherwise, we're all just going to fold it forward over that right thigh. And just breathe into where you're feeling that stretch. Nice deep belly breaths, reconnecting back. When you're ready, looking forward, bring your hands back onto the mat. We're going to tuck under through left toes and then step it back into downward facing dog. And just for a moment here, pedaling out through your feet, so releasing one heel then the other. And then we've got the other side to go. So coming back to stillness. Let's take an inhale as we lift our left leg up to the ceiling. Exhale, step that left foot forward, top of your mat. Right heel releases to a 45-degree angle. Windmill those arms out and around, coming into warrior two. So we're trying to stack our shoulders above our hips. Lunge deeply into that left leg. Press out through that back right heel. Arms are at shoulder height. Looking out over the left fingertips. When you're ready, take an inhale as you straighten out through that left leg. Look up, palms touch. Exhale, lowering down. Inhale to lift up. Exhaling to lower. One more time. Straightening out through that left leg. Hands to your hips. Turn your left toes so that both feet are facing forwards. And again, widen your stance here if you need to. Tucking under through the tailbone. Inhale as you lift up through your chest. And exhale, hinging forward from the hips. Bring hands underneath your shoulders. So it does really help in this position to bring your weight out of your heels. So start to rock your weight forward into the balls of your feet. And then inhale to your half lift. And exhale, fold it forward. Working your head to the mat or towards the mat. If you need to, you can have a soft bend through those knees, that's totally fine. When you're ready, bring your hands back underneath your shoulders. We're going to bring all of our weight over into the ball of our left foot. So to the front of your mat again. Right toes are drawing back towards your face. And you're sitting up onto that left heel. So it's totally fine if you want to stay here. If you want to come into that balance, maybe bringing one hand to heart center, maybe bringing the other hand, looking at something that's not going to move in front of you. And we're really working with that ankle stability here. So feeling all those little stabilizing muscles working really hard to keep us balanced. And then we'll bring those hands down to frame that front leg. Pivot around so that we're facing towards the front of our mat. And from here we come into warrior three. So bring all of your weight into that left leg. Right leg comes up to about hip height. Point your toes down to the mat. So you're engaging through that right leg as well as the left leg. And then hands come to heart center. Let's come into warrior three. So balancing, really working hard with that left leg. Nice work, guys. And then we'll bring hands down to frame that front foot. Take a big step back with that right leg into that nice deep lunge. Lift that left leg up to the ceiling. And then come into pigeon pose on the left-hand side. So knee in behind your left wrist, toes to the opposite side of the mat. Square off through those hips. So extend away with that right leg. And then we'll fold it forward. And again, taking that reclined option if it is feeling a bit sore through the knees. Nice deep belly breaths here. When you're ready, lifting back up onto your hands. We're going to release over onto that left hip and draw your legs forward. So bring the soles of your feet to the mat. We're going to come into our reverse tabletop and then into our reverse plank. So you're going to bring your hands out behind you with your fingertips facing forward, coming into our reverse tabletop to start off with. So from here, you lift your hips up. So really strong through your shoulders, looking up towards the ceiling. Squeeze through your glutes. And we're creating that nice tabletop with our body here. Strong through those thighs. And then lowering all the way down. So to come into our reverse plank, extend both legs out. The aim of this one is to try and get the soles of your feet flat onto the mat. If this isn't for you, coming into your reverse tabletop, otherwise we'll all come into our plank. So you're going to inhale to lift your hips up and try to bring the soles of your feet to the mat. Look up towards the ceiling, strong through those shoulders, lift those hips up. 2 more breaths here. And then release your hips down to the mat. Bend through your knees, and we're going to lower down onto our bellies, 1 vertebrae at a time. So extend your arms out. And from here, we're lowering down through our lower back, through our middle back, and then upper back. Reach your arms up and overhead. Take a full body stretch. And then draw your knees into your chest. Wrap your hands around your shins. And let's revisit our happy baby pose. So arms to the insides of your legs, hands to the outside edges of your feet. And hopefully noticing that you're a little bit more open through your hips after class, after warming up a little bit. So draw your knees down towards armpits, stack your heels above your knees, gently rock from side to side. And this time, let's see if we can work our tailbone down towards the mat. So you're trying to flatten out through your spine, tuck your chin to your chest. And just try to find that length through your spine as you open out through your hips. From here, drawing your knees into your chest, curling yourselves up into a tight little ball, bringing your forehead to your knees, squeezing everything as tight as you possibly can. And then release it all the way down into your final resting posture, into your Shavasana. So I'm going to talk you guys through a body scan. So closing down your eyes, just making sure that you're feeling really comfortable where you are on your mat. So making any final adjustments. Letting go of your breath. And starting at your feet. So your feet are just gently falling out to the sides. And noticing all 10 toes are nice and relaxed here. Noticing that your ankles feel without tension. Your calves, your shins, your kneecaps. Noticing that your thighs feel heavy now. Through your hips and your glutes. We're not holding on to any tension through both of our legs. And then working your way up your spine. Lower back, middle back, and upper back. Releasing any last little bits of tension that you might be holding through your spine. Bringing your attention to your hips, your lower belly, across your chest. And then all the way down, both arms to your fingertips. Feel that surrender in this posture. Noticing you relax through your neck, your jaw, all these tiny little muscles in your face. Your eyes in between your brow, your forehead, and lastly through the crown of your head. Noticing your whole body is relaxed here. Conscious relaxation. Starting to gently wiggle through your fingers and your toes. Starting to invite some movement back into the body. And on your next inhale, take your full body stretch. Reach your arms up and overhead. And then draw your knees into your chest, making your way over to one side into the fetal position with your eyes gently closed. And then gently pressing yourselves up into a comfortable seated position, finding length through your spine. And let's all take an inhale as we reach those arms up. Exhale, bring hands down through heart center. Gently press your thumbs to heart center. Bow your head to your heart, close down your eyes, and take that moment of gratitude for making it to the mat today, moving your bodies and connecting mind and body using breath and movement. Thank you so much for coming to class tonight. I hope you all enjoyed it. Namaste.